Someone asked me to do a video on a C5 Corvette. Um, so keep in mind there's no scripting here. This is literally me pulling up two files and going over what I changed and hopefully most of them be able to tell you why. It's been a few months on this file, so I haven't really changed anything since then. And this was just a stock C5 Corvette. You got your power enrichment here. You set your throttle position based on RPM. Obviously, it's a Corvette, so we can set these down a little bit more. Disable cap protection. Change the cutoff. Spark. Here's your high octane table, which apparently I didn't touch on this car. And then here's your low octane table, which is just basically a copy of the high octane table. Something that I do now that I didn't used to do. Get rid of all this negative crap. And then something I also have never liked on these cars was this weird gap here. So a lot of times I go like this and get rid of it. And to be honest, I don't really like that this stays the way it does. I actually prefer the numbers to keep going smaller as they go down. So typically I'll do something along these lines here because I don't know. I don't really see a purpose of the timing being square like that. Engines don't run square. It's not really a thing. So typically do something like this somewhat, and then you can kind of go on the lines of, it's just a way to play with the table a little bit. You got to remember that your engine RPM and cylinder air mass go at an angle. They don't go straight up. They don't go straight over. It always goes at an angle. So having a bunch of random numbers up here that just don't make sense doesn't really help anyone at all. So just keep that in mind, and it'll help you in the long run, I guess. Now, does modifying these serve any real purpose? Possibly not, but there is a weird possibility that in some alternate universe you may somehow end up with your car in this area, and this could be too much timing and you could blow your motor. So again, we don't want that. Another thing here is you'll see there's some weird dip here as well, so we get rid of that. Grab the whole table, smooth it a little bit. You want the transitions to be smooth. Now, this is a stock car, so I don't really go crazy with the engine timing on it. You can do you can carry some of this timing out a little bit more. Not really a big deal here. 1 degree timing doesn't always do much, but it could add a few horsepower here and there. I don't like to go crazy on a stock car. I don't want to blow up someone's motor because they picked up fuel at the wrong fuel station or whatever. So this is a pretty quality map right here for the C5 Corvette. Now, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you're going to find out where the Corvette drives on the highway, which typically should be right around here. Okay, and you're going to want to have a little bit more timing there to help with fuel mileage. Okay, so from there you're going to want to try to adjust things out. if you can. Sometimes they really don't do much here. Right there, that's pretty much a good timing map. Take this, copy this back over, paste that back over there. Hold on one second. Yep. Now you'll notice this here is, see how it's blue like that? It means it's lower. Okay, so on this exact table, okay, now I have these identical to each other. Typically, I try to make the low octane table a couple of degrees lower than the high octane table. That way, if a customer does get completely shit fuel, there's an ability. Now, if a customer claims they get 93 only, then I'll make these tables 100% identical to each other. So that way, they don't have to worry about losing 20 horsepower because the computer made a glitch. Now, this exact customer wanted his car to sound like it had a cam, and it definitely sounds like it's got a nasty cam in it. So you'll see your overspeed and underspeed tables are pretty much maxed out. Now, this was actually a really good sounding Corvette, and it's actually surprisingly fast for being bone stock. You can see here I changed this. And honestly, I don't really change this table on vehicles anymore. Some vehicles, this makes things really weird. But no issues on this exact vehicle. Left all of this stuff alone. Obviously, put the limiter maxed up high. This one we didn't touch the fans on. Not exactly sure why, but normally we would set this to 200 and 195. 205 and then 200. Transmission, use the Blue Cat tool like normal. You can see here the jump it made. And obviously I have a video on the Blue Cat tool, so there's no point in me going over it in this video. You can see the jump in RPM here. Shift pressure was raised a little bit. Shift timing was changed a little bit. Obviously torque converter times are adjusted properly for what we're doing. Torque management. This customer specifically wants this disabled. I don't normally disable it. Normally I leave it enabled, and then I just reduce the torque reduction table slightly. And that's it for a C5 Corvette. There's really not much more out there for just a basic tune. And this, for most vehicles, will net 30-35 horsepower and make the car significantly more drivable. So that's just your base C5 Corvette tune. From here, you can use my other videos for other modifications. Like if you put a cam in, things like that, you can use my cam videos from here on the C5 Corvette, and it'll help you get to the next spot or the next step of the way.